Welcome back, everyone. IGN Live from Comic-Con, presented by the all-new LG G4. I'm Damon Hatfield, this is Chris Tilley, and we're here to talk about the new film from M. Night Shyamalan. Here to tell us all about it is M. Night Shyamalan and producer Jason Blum. Gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for
So The Visit.
Yes.
Tell us all about it.
Oh my goodness, all about it.
That's a
That's
broad,
a real
that's a
including
broad
the ending.
question.
Great
You
first
put him
question.
on the spot.
That's a great first question.
Give us the entire story.
Okay. No, I was born in a small village in India. It was a rainy day. No, it's a small movie. I wanted to go and make. I had this small contained idea for a movie. I shoot all my movies in Philadelphia, and I really wanted to kind of do kind of like a. Go back to kind of like when I started and, coming out of film school and making small movies was that kind of the aspiration, and I had this idea that kind of lent itself to that. And so I went and made it in Philly and called Jason and said, do you want to be a part of this? And, I got very
Is that
lucky.
how you guys connected? You called
We
him?
knew each other before.
No, that he's being nice. I call it every 6 months. I called him for about 3 or 4 years.
That makes more sense.
Sell him on low budget, and no, I've been courting him for a long time, and then he finally called me back, and I was very excited, and that's how we came together. But
it's true though. To give him credit, it was he put it in my head before. Obviously, he was way ahead of the curve, and kind of said the movie industry is bifurcating into these giant movies, and then the smaller ones which you can control and you can make very different. And at the time, honestly, when he came over and he was preaching, he literally came to Philly.
I came to Philly, that's right.
And he was preaching this.
He really wanted you.
Yes, he did, by the way. He was
I
so sweet.
did.
I was like, this
I
guy,
did.
everything he's saying sounds crazy.
But
Yeah,
it's insane.
But I don't know, is he correct? That's literally what I said after he walked out the door. I'm like, maybe he's right. And then I decided to basically do what he said and make a small movie. And I had the greatest experience, and hopefully the final product is something very, very specific because.
So what's the setup?
Yeah.
It's about two kids that go to visit their grandparents, and let's just say the visit doesn't go very well for them.
But it's found footage.
Yeah, it's the
What made you decide to do that?
It was just my entree into how to tell that story. The lead character girl is a filmmaker. She's basically me, a proxy for me. As a teenager, I wanted to always make films, and I was carrying a camera everywhere, recording everything. And so she espouses my thoughts and dreams, and she wants to make something very beautiful about her family, and she starts to discover something not so great.
And I think a distinction that's important to make about the movie is really it's as opposed to found footage, which makes it, which is sounds haphazard, which it is. This is really this young girl in the movie shooting a documentary, so it's very composed, and what you're looking at, it doesn't feel like a found footage. Not that there's anything wrong with found footage movies, we've done a few of them, but it doesn't feel like a found footage movie.
Yeah, there's intent, there's cinematic intent there. Hopefully you feel like it's a beautiful movie.
Yeah.
And
So-
what inspired the idea for the story?
Sometimes I get ideas. This one actually came. I didn't tell you this, Jason.
No.
It came to me when I play basketball a lot, and I've had 2 knee surgeries, ACL surgeries from playing basketball because I'm Indian. I shouldn't really be playing basketball, but
not
I don't
allowed.
really. I don't
Is
really
that-
listen.
is that
to
a
it.
thing?
It's real. That's
Okay.
real. That's a law. That's a law, by the way.
Cricket. You should be playing
Yes,
cricket.
exactly. So I was just coming out of surgery, and I got 2 ideas for a movie, and this was one of them. And I was like, gotta write this down, and I wasn't sure whether it was a real idea, was it gonna be sticky or not, but I kept it in my journal. And then what happens is, for me, the ideas have to match where I am, what I'm thinking, because they're kind of really about my emotions at the time. And this is about kind of fracturing a family and people that don't speak to each other, and it felt like the right time to do this. And I think the Jason of it all made a big difference. This moment in time where you're seeing these gigantic $200, $300 million movies, and I think there's a beautiful way to tell a very powerful story that belongs in the movie theaters.
Of course.
And, yes, and be explosive in the movie theaters, but it can be without a single CGI shot in it, that kind of thing.
So you had a screening last night.
Yeah.
How did that go?
It was raucous. It was so fun. They're so kind here. So they're just such a generous group, and it was really fun to be there. It got, I would say, frenzy was probably the right word, but it was like pandemonium because it's intentionally insane. The movie gets insane, and they were like spinning. It was really fun.
were you at the back of the auditorium just laughing whenever anyone jumped?
You know, I'm the best audience member for any movie. I'm very visceral. You see me jumping and laughing and all that stuff, and so I was actually in the corner area, and you know, you feel relief as they're laughing and screaming at the right places, and then applause is like. It's like crack cocaine to me, like in the thing when they're like, "Oh yes, that was awesome." I'm like another shot of heroin.
More. We actually have a question from one of our viewers on Twitter. Remember, you can tweet your questions at IGN with hashtag IGN Live. Just like Chris did, would you do an Unbreakable sequel or TV show? I love that movie, by the way.
So, yeah, I've asked you about this before, and it's what you said earlier. I think you said you feel emotions, and that's what makes you do stuff. And
yeah.
You said you weren't in the right place last time.
Yeah.
You're at Comic-Con now.
Yeah.
You're surrounded by comic book fans.
Yeah.
Anything changed?
The short answer to that is yes.
Huh?
But I'm going to qualify it.
Okay.
So, you know, for me, you know, the best way, I've always believed that my only tool, and not mine, all artists' only tool is their authenticity, you know, how specific they are. Whether it connects with the audience or not, you have to be authentic, right? And I live in Philadelphia, 3,000 miles away from Hollywood, and it's very much you know, I'm going to tell stories about what's going on with me, and Unbreakable was exactly what I was feeling at that time. And at that time, you know, when I was making Sixth Sense, Unbreakable, and Signs, you know, I was a certain place in my life. It was like late 20s, early 30s. Kids weren't that, you know, small kids, but they weren't there. Then my kids grew up, and I started making more family fare for them. That's where my head was at. And I get it. You're known for this, and you know, as you try to switch, and now my kids are growing up again, and now I'm moving into back to kind of edgier point of view. It's literally like when I think of the stories, I'm thinking of them, you know? They're now teenagers and all, and so strangely it's coming back into a kind of an edgier conversations, darker and edgier conversations. I mean, like The Visit, you know, is meant to, you know, scare the crap out of them and be, you know, for them to enjoy themselves. And Unbreakable and the things that were going on, the kind of conflicts are feeling more valid to me, you know, now to talk about. And so, but as you could guess, I don't want to do a traditional movie, like a traditional second movie. That turns me off, this whole idea of I'm going to do something that's what the benefit of doing a sequel is everybody's feeling familiar about the content, right? But that actually turns me off about making movies, for me, you know? It has to be something, a completely original take if we were going to do something like unexpected.
Right.
And
So I'm confused. Do you want to do an Unbreakable sequel or not?
Well, it's a complicated answer, my friend. That's what I'm trying to say to you.
What's left to say in that universe, though? I mean, I felt like the film was just getting started when it ended.
It's true.
Is that rude? Sorry.
Well, you know, look, you know, for me, you know, Unbreakable is about the grounded take on the subject of comic books. It's a drama about the subject of comic books.
Yes.
And postulating whether this is perhaps quasi possible, that there are people that are, you know, extraordinary and in different ways, but comic books have taken it, made it, you know, characterized it. And is it possible that the real life counterparts actually exist? That's valid and of interest to me still.
So would there be any potential to go full on comic book Marvel in another one?
You know what? That's not my thinking. You know, my style is not. It's much more. I'm very much about, you know, what's not said and keeping it incomplete. Does that make sense?
Sure.
Yeah. Minimalist.
Sure.
There's plenty of that, right, for us to go see.
Exactly.
So
We've got-
There's no shortage.
There's no shortage of that.
Now, as for The Visit, when is that in theaters?
September 11th, and
All right.
we're really excited about it. We think it's a great place for, you know, all the kids. Everybody will be back in school, and then their second weekend, hopefully, will be blowing their minds.
Yeah.
And I think the other thing that's very unique about it, one of the things that I really responded to in it, and it's very hard to make a scary movie fun or a thriller fun. And in The Visit, there's a lot of twists and scares and jumps, but it's also a really fun movie, and that was one of the things that I thought was really special about it.
Well, gentlemen, thank you so much for coming by the show. I look forward to seeing a smaller, different kind of movie from you.
Thank you.
The Visit is in theaters September 11th. Stay tuned. More to come from IGN Live here at Comic-Con after this.
Good job.
Thank you, guys. That was fun.